you awake?
Kind of.
Kind of. I'm not sure if I am. It's just been a weird week. I had a friend go into the hospital. It's kind of thrown me off my game a little bit. I think I slept a lot today. I think I went to bed at about 9 o'clock last night. Didn't get up till about 9 o'clock this morning. So, yeah.
A full 10 hours.
10 hours?
I don't know.
12 hours.
12 hours.
That's base
yeah,
12.
Whatever. Yeah, whatever.
Time is base 12.
Okay.
So 9 to 9 is 12 hours.
Okay.
Okay. Just wait till they teach you hexadecimal.
Hexa what?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But shut up.
But I've been busy this week, not with regular calls, but I've been getting some things done. I built a website, Gigsplained.com. Link will be in the description. I also created 3 new T-shirts before we even started recording this. Well, I'll put these up as I go through them in editing. But I've got 2 of them that are just the Gigsplained logo, and it's the new one of the new shirts that says below it, "Never Stop Learning." That's kind of a, it's all right. That's a safe T-shirt for like teachers to wear to school and stuff.
Yep.
That's what that shirt's for. Then there's another one that has my catchphrase on it. It has the Gigsplained logo, and then it says, "That's another podcast." That might be fun.
That's another podcast.
That's another podcast. Well, and then I created a special one, and it says, "I'm having a moment of serenity." And it's got some of her little catchphrases on it, like, "Oh, wow." and "dang." And
Shut up.
Well, I didn't put "shut up" on there. That might send the wrong message.
Yeah.
But, yeah, put a couple of her little catchphrase, monosyllabic things that she does.
Sorry.
That wasn't on there either.
No.
Anyway, so they're available right now for sale, international shipping, all of the whole ball of wax. You can get it right now at gigsplained.printify.me. Link will be in the description. I haven't really worked on the Facebook page at all, and we haven't gotten Serenity's computer built.
Sad
unfortunately.
moments.
What?
Sad moments.
Sad moments.
Yeah.
Why? Because you ready for a computer? Ready for a new computer?
Yeah.
Some of the keys are missing from her laptop keyboard. It's an old ThinkPad. Yeah, I mean, you're due for a new computer or whatever.
I recently lost another one.
You lost another one?
Yeah, it just fell off.
Well, you gotta quit abusing it.
I'm not!
None of my keys fall off my keyboards.
Well, that one's different.
That's different. Gotta quit texting your AI robot friend over your computer all the time, wearing the keys out.
It's just role-playing a little bit.
Role-playing?
Yeah.
I will be a witch, you will be a wizard.
No.
Go. Beep, beep.
No. No. Not that, no.
Would you like to play a game?
No.
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 That one was from War Games.
Oh, wow.
You've never seen it, though.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure you haven't. It's an old movie,
It's old like the dinosaurs.
Old like the dinosaurs. Like, it was made while I was alive. So you're saying I'm as old as the...
You are alive, though.
Yes,
You're still
but
alive.
It was made... You saying that movie's as old as the dinosaurs. And it was made after I was born. So I am older than the dinosaurs. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. No,
I bet you. Do
I'm
you have a
joking.
flat Earth theory you want to share with
No,
us,
I'm
E2?
joking. I'm just joking.
Yes. I'm sure there's a picture of me, a Polaroid of me somewhere riding a dinosaur T-Rex. That's- if we can find it, we should frame it and put it in the kitchen.
Yes. I'm just gonna like Photoshop you on top of a dinosaur.
Okay. Well, then we'll have one. I'm sure that I'm sure those pictures of Jesus riding the dinosaur are totally real, and they're not photoshopped at all. Because I'm sure that's not how that's done. I'm sure they really went back in time and got a picture of Jesus riding a dinosaur. Or maybe they drew one and then, they put it in the Bible or something. Maybe? I don't know. Anyway, let's not pick on the Christians too much. So yeah, we've got the 3 new shirts in the Printify Me store, and we've got a website which there's almost nothing on it right now. I still have to build the other pages and whatnot, and it's been kind of a slow process because if you know WordPress or any CMS, any content management system, WordPress is designed for people who have never developed a website before, and it shows because I'm used to going and taking a WYSIWYG editor or even code and being able to place things on a page exactly where I want them to be. And I can't do that with WordPress. So, and every template is different, and every template has its own set of limitations that you're constantly bumping up against, and it's just so frustrating. And I'm using the new 2024 template because the site is so simple that we don't need a lot of stuff. We don't need a lot of what do I want to say? We don't have enough content to really fill up a site, so it doesn't need to be organized that much. But like on Gigabooks Press, I used the 2017 template and then added some add-ins, and then was able to make it the way I wanted it to be. The biggest issue is like all the content on Gigabooks Press is like too big. It wants to fill the screen with everything, and then it doesn't even fill the screen. There's a bunch of blank spots, and it's like there's room for a sidebar, but then it makes the page busy, and then
Oh man, that sucks.
it's so frustrating when you're used to even a WYSIWYG editor that's very graphical. It had its problems too. Don't get me wrong, but you had a lot more control over the exact placement of where you wanted things to go and how you wanted things to look and whatnot. And it's just like as time goes on, it just less and less and less control is being given to the end user in favor of usability for new users. And that's it's not necessarily usability. It's not useful.
Yeah.
And that's part of the I guess that's part of what we're going to talk about today. Is we're going to talk about a user interface design, and and what frustrates me about, and honestly what frustrates my customers about it. You go in and you buy a piece of software. I just dealt with this with your grandmother, and she was describing things to me over the phone. Normally I would log in, but the Real VNC has changed up their whole business model, and and we can't log in, and that's a whole thing. Normally, I can feel my way around a new interface and figure it out, and then relay that to the customer. But in this case, she had to describe everything she was seeing on the screen to me, and everything she was describing didn't make any sense whatsoever. I kind of think I knew what she was talking about, but the way her computer was reacting was like, I don't know what this is. When you click open, it should open an open dialog, and that's all it should do, and not give you other things.
Yeah.
And why does it need to be improved? Why if you train somebody on a user interface, why is it that suddenly you have to change it? Why is that? Why was the old interface bad and now this one's better? And most of the time it's not better. Have you ever run into that?
No.
No. Never. You've never run into where you're using a piece of software and it changes its interface. So you clearly don't use Microsoft products.
No.
Okay, well, there's our answer, I guess. So here's the thing. Like back in let's just go back to the 90s. Windows was a thing, Windows 3.1 was a thing. Microsoft Word had a certain look to it. It had a certain way of functioning, and every single release since about 1997 has changed that interface completely every single time it's re-released.
Dang.
And that's great for people like me where I have to teach end users how to do Microsoft Word all over again, but it generates support calls, and that's not good for a company, because then your IT guys are busy explaining that the print is now the page preview or the print preview is now page preview, and you can't do this or that or whatever. It's like, you gotta be kidding me. What was wrong with the old way of doing it? You still have menus, drop down menus from the top and whatnot. Well, now there's giant buttons and it takes up real estate on the screen, and then there are some changes that I understand, like the giant buttons are for touch. So you make the buttons bigger for your common things so that you can touch them with your finger, because your finger is not a mouse pointer.
Yeah.
Let's not get it. The whole touchscreen issue is another podcast, quite frankly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a different podcast.
Oh my gosh.
But Microsoft went, like Windows 8.1. Does anybody remember Windows 8.1 or Windows 8 at all?
Well, not me.
Not you. Okay, well, yeah, because you started, basically, we went from Windows 7 to Windows 10, and we just jumped from one to the other, and that was it.
So what Windows does child's computer have?
The pink one, I think, is Windows 7.
Okay.
And you have Windows 10,
Yeah.
and we skipped over 8 because 8 was a pile of garbage, quite frankly.
Dang.
And what the whole reason for Windows 8, there was this, the way it worked, they changed the interface completely around. And the reason they did it is because they wanted to do touchscreen devices. And they wanted all sizes of touchscreen devices. They wanted tablets, they wanted computer screens, they wanted cell phones. Do you remember Windows Phone? No, you probably don't.
No, I don't.
I'm sure some people do. They wanted Windows Phone, and they wanted the interface to be the same on all the devices and to work the same on all the devices. Well, there was a huge backlash because suddenly you got rid of the start menu, and they fixed it in 8.1. That's how big of a backlash there was. But when you in Windows 8.1 you click the start menu, and the big thing comes up with all the gigantic buttons that fill your screen. And the what was wrong with the start button? There wasn't anything wrong with the start button. And now so they brought everything back in Windows 10, and everybody breathed a huge sigh of relief. And now they're going to Windows 11, and people are going, "Where's my start button? The start button is there, but now they've centered everything. Why? Why would you center everything? Why not just keep everything exactly the same?
Yeah.
Leave it alone. It doesn't need to change." It's great for me. Like, I can see at a glance what version of Windows they're using, but your start button's centered, so I guess we're using Windows 11 instead of Windows 10. Well, I could go. This whole podcast might be just one big rant about the way Microsoft changes their interfaces, because they did it in Office. And like I mentioned, and they changed the interface in Office constantly over time, and then people don't know where everything is, and it's like, the problem is, like, with Microsoft. So Windows 7 was fine, Windows 10 was fine, Windows 8 was a disaster. It worked fine, it was functional, but nobody could get around to use it. Nobody could figure it out. It was cumbersome for people to use. Do you remember what cumbersome means?
No.
Yes, you do.
No,
you just learned it last week.
Yeah, last week.
Needlessly complicated.
Oh.
Needlessly hard. And so in 8.1 they brought back the start menu, but it still brought up this whole thing. And Windows 10 rectified all that. But here's the thing, there were still elements in Windows 10 that were how can I explain this so that people will understand? So Windows 7 was its own thing. When they went from Windows XP to Windows Vista to Windows 7, not a lot changed. The interface changed a little bit, got a little more boring, I guess. Wasn't terribly decorative like Windows XP used to be. Things weren't as puffy and round. That was fine. All of that just little tiny aesthetics like that. Everything was basically in the same place. Well, when they went from XP to Windows, from XP to Vista to Windows 7, they started hiding things. They started hiding icons that you might need to get into the settings on your computer. And you had to go and click, like, for example, in the control panel, you had to select, okay, do you want the icons sorted by category, or do you want them sorted by large icons or small icons? And the large icon and small icon were the same thing. It's just that large icon and small icon were basically like the old control panel that they had for a decade.
Yeah.
So why did they have to add category? Why organize it by category? Well, it's supposed to be easier for users to find things. If people have been, the thing is they keep trying to retrain users on new interfaces, and retraining users on new interfaces doesn't work. I mean, if you have a new piece of software, fine, they have to learn your software, but you're neglecting all the people who have 10 years plus experience using your software. Every time you change your interface, they have to come along too. And that's what's so frustrating, especially from a support perspective. All these people who have learned your software and learned your way of doing things now have to relearn it all over again. And that's not good. It's never good. Just leave it alone. When you go from Windows 10 to Windows 11, The same thing is happening. They're hiding things. You right click on the desktop, they hide most of your options. You have to click more options, then your full menu comes up. Stop doing that. Don't hide things. Let people see what they need to see. That's how you learn. Because even if you don't need that particular item, if you don't need that particular function in that menu, yes, it's a little bit of clutter, but people remember, oh wait, that's where that was.
I feel like you're lecturing me.
Well, stop doing it. No,
I'm not.
no, I'm lecturing Microsoft because Microsoft is the biggest offender.
Yeah.
They are the worst at doing this, and it is frustrating my users, and it frustrates me, and because I can't support people over the phone half the time anymore. Oh, I'm in Windows. What do I do now? Well, what I would have done is I could have walked you through it in my sleep. Well, now that they've changed the interface, I can't do that anymore. They don't need to hide things. They don't need to make things. They don't need to dumb things down. And that's exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to dumb things down so it makes it easier. But whenever you change the interface, whenever you change the user interface, that's the UI acronym, you don't make it easier. They have to relearn a new way of doing things. And you change things too much, and users are just going to get angry.
Yeah.
And you're going to make technicians angry.
Dang.
So that's where I'm coming from, and I know this has kind of gone on to a rant, but Microsoft isn't the only offender. The issue is like companies get bought out all the time, and then the new company that owns them wants to make changes so that it's in line with their software. Well, if their software sucks, the changes are going to be bad. I haven't really seen this on social media, but I'm not on that many social media things. I realize this is not a great example, but like Facebook, I understand. I've gone deep into Facebook. I have a business management account for Facebook. You've seen it.
Have I?
I was showing it to you when we were trying to get you signed up for the...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah. On Instagram, I can't make a post that's just text. It has to be accompanied by a picture. Or a video or something like that. And I don't always have a picture or a video to go along with it. So what's wrong with Facebook? Well, not everybody's on Facebook. Everybody's hanging out on Instagram now, and celebrities are hanging out on Instagram. And I have an Instagram account, and I tried to make another one so that I could separate out these businesses. The problem is, it won't let me create another Instagram account. I have dozens of Facebook accounts, one for each business, but I don't have a single, I only have one Instagram account, and it's Mr. Gigabytes. And so I post there, I post there only as part of the other things that I'm doing. So if we have a video coming out, it'll go to Instagram on Mr. Gigabytes, or if I have a product announcement or whatever. And so everything's got to get funneled through this one account. I can't do that. That doesn't make any business sense.
Yeah.
So it's really frustrating. The whole social media organization thing is really frustrating for me. Facebook makes complete sense. Instagram, I don't get it. I don't get it, man. Well, and for like Snapchat, I don't know why everybody's on Snapchat. What is the point of Snapchat? You tell me, because you're on Snapchat. Why are you on Snapchat?
I'm not anymore, but I used to use it to just contact people.
But what? So you were on Snapchat because other people were on Snapchat.
Well,
basically.
One, it had filters that I liked, and two, it was the only way to contact.
It was the only way to contact certain people.
Yeah.
So you were on there because other people were on there.
And the filters.
Well, and the filters, but what would be the point of being on there otherwise? I can text message people. I can contact people through Facebook Messenger. I can. It seems like it's a duplication. They say that you send a message and then it disappears. Well, that's fine and all, but you send a message, it disappears. Why would you need the message to disappear? Unless you're doing something nefarious, something sus.
Bruh.
So that doesn't make any sense. So I'm not on WhatsApp because I don't understand that either.
WhatsApp?
Yeah, WhatsApp. It's also believe it or not, it's a Meta product. Basically, Facebook bought out WhatsApp, and so I don't understand WhatsApp. What's the point of? Maybe somebody can explain it to this old guy in the comments. If you're on WhatsApp, what would be the purpose of doing it? And there's also like things like Venmo and Cash App and PayPal, and what's the advantage of one over the other? There isn't really one advantage of one over the other.
Nope.
It doesn't make any sense. Like, I can do everything in PayPal. So here's the thing. I've got $15 in Cash App I can't access. Somebody Cash Apped me $15.
Dang.
But I can't get it because I think it's probably a bank account issue, but I don't trust Cash App enough to give them my bank account information. So yeah, I'm not. That's a me problem, but. So yeah, they Cash App me $15. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. So now what?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
You spent like 30 minutes talking about.
Yeah, UI.
Yeah.
Yeah, user interfaces and user experience. And the user interface directly affects the user experience. They teach whole classes on this. And yet there's still people who design terrible user interfaces out there. Have you ever encountered any game or app or whatever that you just go, what in the heck? How the hell are you supposed to do this?
Yes.
Which one?
It's a game on Roblox.
Oh, so it's an amateur, and an amateur basically developed this game. I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Because you can be a Roblox developer and develop your own game, and they can be terrible games. They can really suck.
Yeah.
But if it's your first attempt, that's okay too. But if you don't know anything about user interface design,
Because some of the games are just like, you join and then it doesn't say anything. It doesn't give you an intro or anything like that, like normal, like other games do. And then it's just like, what do I do?
So you basically you have no instruction, you have no guidance, you have nothing on the screen to click.
Yeah, and then there's the ones that are like really hard that you can't even beat. Like these certain obbies or games, it's just like, oh, you gotta finish the obby for this or something, and then you get to a certain part and it's just like an impossible jump. And like this, you'd either go like you do the pixel perfect jump like how you said,
right?
But then you'd only get halfway or like close before falling. So.
So yeah, user interface design is terrible. Well, and the user experience was the whole reason I made my own operating system. I was so fed up. Linux was starting to do the same thing Microsoft was doing. Every time there was a new revision of every time like Ubuntu came out with a new operating system, or Debian and KDE, or KDE came out with a new desktop or whatever, they changed the way the start menu functioned, and it was worse. It kept getting worse and worse, and I just was like, you got to be kidding me with this, right? I just decided I'm going to make my own operating system. I'm going to build it the way I want to, and it's not going to be for enthusiasts. I'm building it for your average person. I want to make it simple. I'm not going to change the interface. I'm going to, every time they come out with a new version, and I started with like Debian 6. Yeah, I think it was 6, 7, and 8 are the 3 major revisions I dealt with. It was Debian KDE. So Debian was the base operating system. KDE was the desktop environment. KDE was a very heavy desktop environment. It took up a lot of resources. I didn't care about resources. I didn't care about making it light. I wanted something that the user was going to have an easy time with. KDE is that desktop environment. And it's beautiful. It's great. It's wonderful. And I could load a whole bunch of stuff into it that would make the user's experience easier, which was the whole point of the operating system. And then I could customize the little start button to have one of 3 or 4 different starts.
Yeah.
I could use the new one that the developers were having getting a jolly off of, or I could use the one that was just a little bit older, or I could use one that's basically like the old Windows start menu. So that's the one I went with. And then I logoed it up and added some and pre-installed some software like remote desktop support and a whole bunch of other things. The way my installer ran, you actually booted into a live version right off of the CD or off of the thumb drive. It would connect to your internet, and from there you just had to double click on one icon. As long as you were on the phone with me or whatever, I could actually install the operating system for you.
Dang.
So I could remote into your live version and install your operating system. And so that was huge. At the time, I was the only operating system that could do that.
Nice.
And that was in the very first version. I was able to do that. Well, basically I think the problem was by the time we released the first version, I think it was version, the very first version of Gigastrand OS, it was already basically 6 months out of date. So we spent another 6 months, came out with the next version, and we had to beat that version of Debian and KDE into behaving. And then then about a year later after that, we went to Debian 8 and a newer version of KDE, and that one was really good. It was the best one, and it supported a lot of things. The reason I stopped was then I had to suddenly I had to support computers that were basically EFI enabled. And instead of having a whole file structure and everything on a drive, EFI is a single file that basically encompasses the whole drive, and it boots off of that. So, and it's a way to securely, I'm doing air quotes right now, securely boot a computer, but it wasn't. It's security theater. It's just once again, an overcomplication in the way that a computer works, and doesn't really protect you from anything. Now, instead of having to corrupt a file or two, you can corrupt one file, and then it spoils your whole day. So I don't know. It's just EFI. It's supposed to, like I said, it's supposed to be secure. It's really. One guy today just called it security theater, and I agree with him. It doesn't really help anything. Maybe I'm just becoming a crotchety old man, and just want the way things were, and I want to go back to 32-bit operating systems. And no, I don't really. 64-bit is just fine. But that was a whole thing too. But we managed to overcome that, and then we ended up with EFI. Well, then suddenly my operating system couldn't be installed on certain computers, and I just went, you know what? I'm done. I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm sure I could have figured it out, but it was taking too many resources to get this all done. And being a one-man show, I couldn't be sitting in the office for hours and hours and hours on end developing an operating system and trying to make it work with both EFI and what they call legacy boot now. So I just gave up. What I decided on was a way to load a Linux operating system like Ubuntu or Kubuntu. I could customize it for the customer so that it would be easy. But I would have to have a hand in. I couldn't just send them a disk and then install it. But the weird thing is when you're in a live CD situation, so you boot to the live disk, there you can, with no hard drive, no nothing, as long as you have a big enough memory, you can download something off of the internet, like a remote desktop, and install it in the live CD. Now, granted, when you shut your computer down, that'll all go away.
Yeah.
But while you're in the live CD or live mode, you can download and install something as long as you've got enough memory in the computer.
Yeah.
But the nice thing about my operating system is I could have all that already installed, and they could just click a button and go.
Yeah.
I'd like to get back. I'd like to do that again sometime, but who knows? You know, it's never. It just isn't going to happen. I don't know. So you can add operating system developer to my resume list. I've done that. I also developed a line of software that nobody's ever heard of, and I wrote that from the ground up.
Nice.
I wrote some DOS games back in the 90s, and I wrote Windows games in the 2000s, and I sold them. And to this date, very few people have ever heard of them. But I've still got I still have all the code, and I still have all the discs, and well, not all the discs, but I have all the disk images and whatnot. I created a utility floppy and a utility CD to help people fix their own computer.
Nice.
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 But see, that's what you can do if you never stop learning. Don't look at me in that tone of voice. That's going to go on a T-shirt too.
Oh my god!
Don't look at me in that tone of voice.
Please no.
I was going to do a fourth T-shirt.
Please don't. Don't do it.
Why not?
No.
Put that on a T-shirt. Don't look at me in that tone of voice. Right on the front, like in big letters.
Oh my god.
But yeah, right on the front of the shirt in big bold letters.
No.
Why not? Don't you think that'd be a great shirt?
No.
In like horror script.
What?
Like Friday the 13th, Freddy versus Jason letters, like they're bleeding or lightning bolts or something. Don't look at me in that tone of voice. And
No.
the angry shirt.
No.
And then down at the bottom in our regular font, Gigsplained. None of these shirts, these are all like inside jokes. These shirts. Like, I'm having a moment of serenity. If you don't understand, if you've never listened to the podcast, you have no idea what the hell that the shirt is trying to say. What the hell the shirt is talking about. And trust me, I've seen the numbers. There are billions of people out there who have never listened to this podcast. So it's like an inside joke to just the 15 or 20 people that listen on a regular basis.
I want to wear that shirt to school one day.
You want to wear it? We'll have to order it for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yay.
It's not an expensive shirt either. I mean, it's $25, but it's not an expensive shirt.
Yeah.
They're it's like this one. This one, I think, I mean, it fits me okay. I've got the. If I have to explain this to you, I bill by the hour. I got it the other morning while I was sitting with my old guys for
Mm-hmm.
coffee. The one of the guys, he's a joker. He clowns around a lot and tells inappropriate jokes to everybody.
Dang.
And he must have been telling a joke, and he spilled his coffee, and he jumped up, and I've never seen him run that fast. And he got a little bit of coffee on the side of his shirt, and he calls out into the back of Hardee's and says, "Hey, do you have a size 2X Hardee's shirt that I can borrow?" And so I pull up our gigsplained.printify.me website, and I show him the shirt. If I have to explain this to you, I bill by the hour. And I said, here's a shirt that if we had one, we could give to you. And he read it and he says, "Yep, that's perfect." He says, "If I have to explain this shirt to you." But yeah, like all these shirts are like inside jokes. The Gigsplained logo shirt with the new one that I just did. That's another podcast.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so people looking at it who have no idea what Gigsplained is, they're going to look at it and think, oh, Gigsplained is a podcast. They're going to equate that to that. Okay, great. But only the wearer will actually know what it means.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm going to do in the next week, I've got probably a couple of computers to build. I've got an install to do. I've got quite a bit. I got to get your computer built. I got to get another computer built. I've got to get the other computer is a gaming system. I've got a small install to do. I don't know how much I'm going to get done before the next podcast. I may not have everything done, but hopefully things will start rolling here soon, and I'll be able to build the website up and make it actually more functional than it is, because right now the website has one page and it has placeholders for a bunch of other things, and I've kind of got the look that I want down, but sorta, kinda,
Sorta.
yeah. We need an about page. We maybe need I don't know about a contact us page. We should have a contact us page somehow. But maybe that can wait. But we need to have a functioning website, I think. Especially being we're branching out. We do have the social media, Facebook /Gigsplained. And so far, Jamie is the only one that's said he likes Gigabyte's technology, but I think the way he said that he likes Gigabyte's technology, it's like we're renaming the business. No, we're not renaming the business, just this channel.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to rename Gigabyte's technology is still going to be a thing, and there's still going to be Gigabyte's technology branded videos, because Gigabyte's technology will be presenting those videos still. So it's not all just going to be Gigsplained branded, but it's it will be the whole channel will be called Gigsplained. I mean, if there's no real objection to it, I think we're going to go ahead and just rename it, and then maybe the Gigsplained YouTube channel would become the new. Because I don't know if I'm even going to do anything with Gigabyte's technology. I can't think of a video that would gain traction that would be beneficial for the business. I really don't. So Gigsplained should just be the channel for what we're doing already.
Yeah.
And maybe sometime down the line I'll think of something that will relate. to Gigabytes technology. Like I said, I did a camera review, and it actually kind of sucked because the audio was really bad. Well, I've done once I put in an Amcrest DVR to record our cameras, the audio has gotten substantially better.
Mm.
So I don't know. I don't know. We'll have to see. But yeah, it basically if you're designing something that a user has to touch, make the user interface simple but not cumbersome. Have you forgotten what cumbersome is?
No.
You remember what cumbersome is?
Yeah.
Good. So hopefully you'll remember it for the next time.
Probably not.
No more cookie cake for you.
No.
I suppose we'll just kind of end it there. This has been Mr. Gigabytes, and
His sidekick Serenity.
for the Gigsplained podcast, never stop learning.
Adios.